What's going on, everybody? Saturday the 30th. Standing out here waiting for the air conditioner to shut off. Just gonna blast through some quick visual updates, and then I've got stuff to do inside. So a bunch of tomatoes, kind of all over the place. I've been trimming the heck out of it. I'm guessing it just with the heat, it can't get enough nutrient to grow the fruit and the other leaves, so I did a lot of trimming, but you can see lots of tomatoes. These are the early dolls, and there's a bunch going on up here and a lot that's starting. This is actually the same plant. Well, there's two plants, right? So this one, and then this one branches all the way over here. The chocolate sprinkles doing okay, even though there's a lot of dead stuff back there, a lot of tomatoes hiding in there. Grape tomatoes just going gangbusters. That's pretty crazy looking just in general. A good 50 plus grape tomatoes hanging out there. And then the top, not quite as crazy, but it's doing really well. Black Krim, this one's doing pretty good, and the other one's starting to catch up. All these things are going to the trash. Those are all extras. And then everything is going pretty well over there. And then I've got a row of mini tom-toms, mini bell peppers, mini something other tomato, and some other kind of mini pepper. They're supposed to be like no more than 6 or 8 inches and sit in a pot. Really the only other thing that's really cool, because I haven't been looking in here, is we got a bunch of jalapenos hanging out. The bell peppers are starting to blossom. There is some banana peppers hiding in there. I did a little trimming so I could actually see, hey, there's a pepper in there. And because they're the same color as the leaves, there's actually a bunch of Scotch bonnets hanging out in here. This is the other chocolate sprinkle. The big beef is starting to take off. I didn't think it was going to, because I cut it wrong, as I say every week, but the midnight snack is just going gangbusters. I've got no words to how many things are hanging out on this plant. So it's doing wonderful. And then the indigo is not quite as prolific, but there's much stuff going on there. The leaves are, because of the heat, they're not dry. They're a little dry, but there's plenty of nutrient because they drink 24/7. It's just, it's hot and it doesn't like it. The Tesla land current starting to take off. Actually, there's one hanging out back there. I need to either trim or bring it up. And the sun gold is lots of blossoms. Oh, there's a truss starting to build down there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. I got the basil transplanted just a few minutes ago. Got the watermelon bucket built and transplanted. Corn is going crazy. Cucumbers are going pretty crazy. I try to thin them out a little bit, and then there's some dry leaves hanging out underneath. Just remember these two small yellow buckets, these are hydroponic ones, and they're going pretty good. Actually, I was poking around earlier. There is a cucumber ready to go in there. So the potato plants were pretty much dead, so I dug those up. A little disappointing, even though it looks like a lot, it's not really. There should have been probably 10 times the amount of potatoes, and those are pretty runty. Some of them are normal size small potatoes, and some of them are about the size of a blueberry, literally. Like, so that one right there is not very big. So after I hilled them, they just didn't root past what was in the base. So the top 2/3 of the bucket was just dirt. Other than that, nothing really exciting. The garlic was dying off. The garlic heads are really small. Just pulled those, gonna let them sit overnight, and I'm gonna hang them up in the garage and let them dry and see how they do. Other than that, everything else is kind of status quo, just growing like crazy. You can see the bitter melon going pretty crazy. Oh, one last thing. So the orange Rousselini is getting pretty dense in here, and although it's leaning, you can see some tomatoes are hanging out in there, and that's what this one does. It gets bushy and the tomatoes just grow inside, so we'll see what happens. Lots of blossoms, and there's some little baby bitter melons hanging out in there. The Roma beans are doing good. The one long bean is still alive. The other three, they're either getting choked out or something happened to them. Don't know, but they are just same size as when I transplant. They're dying. Snap peas, they don't seem to be dealing real well with the heat, but they're not dead. They're still doing their thing. So other than that, like I said, this one, it's not doing that well. I mean, it's alive. It's starting to bud. And what irritates me is they didn't tell me which one was which. So one of these is a Fuji and one of these is a Honeycrisp. You can see there's a big difference between that one and that one. Other than that, that's it for this week.